club activities have finished and we are on the way home. Agea is fanning the chest of her sweat-drenched uniform. She sees me looking.
Oh? Nani miten no?
Your boobs. She senses me looking at her chest and asks cheerfully. You know, you should try to be a little more ladylike. Why?
しょうがないじゃん。胸が一番汗かくんだもん。これって女らしいってことじゃない？
What, that your dress is sweaty? She asks as she carries on fanning herself. I get a slight feeling that she's trying to show me.
ガレージのエアコン弱くない？お尻が蒸れちゃうんだけど。
Says Kotori as she wriggles her backside around. When it comes to these two, it's spacious and there is no effect of heat insulation from the ceiling. It's like a prefabricated building. There's no attic and the heat from the sun transfers directly to the inside. Even if we turn on the air conditioning, it only has half the effect.
ロボット部よりかはマシよ。あっちは人数多いからムシムシするのよね。汗で。
Listening to Ageha's story, Kotori makes a face that says, "Ew!"
さてと、私こっちだから。
We get to the usual fork in the road where Ageha leaves us to go in the other direction.
じゃあね。
Hey Ageha. Do you want to get some ice cream from the convenience store?
いいけど、なんで急に？
You two were saying how hot it is, and I suddenly felt like eating one. You want to eat one too, Kotori?
いいけど。
Kotori seems to be thinking about Ageha being there when she answers. Okay, let's go. I start walking ahead. In the convenience store parking lot, I bite into the ice cream that I had bought. Hanging out in front of the convenience store is one of the privileges of being a high school student. Ageha got watermelon flavor, Kotori got chocolate chip, and I chose vanilla monaka.
ハバネさんはカップ派か。棒のアイスは途中で溶けてきて手がベトベトするから好きじゃないの。
It seems like everyone has their own preferences when it comes to ice cream.
ねえ葵、シミュレーターどうだった？
I still don't really understand it. It was pretty tricky.
どこがどう難しいの？
It just feels kind of inconvenient, you know. When I think about doing something, I'm not able to do it quickly. The feeling I get when I move it and the speed, it's quite easy to steer though.
エルロンもラダーもエレベーターも風を受けなきゃ効果ないもんね。
That's right. Using the power of the wind to control the position of the aircraft. Of course, if the wind is strong, small movements of the controls have a big effect, and vice versa. However, the glider doesn't have an engine. You can't easily speed up or slow down. If you do one thing, it affects everything else, and that's what makes it difficult. You can't just think about the current situation, you have to act according to what will happen next. It means that experience is needed to ride this thing.
乗ってて気持ちよかった？
Well, to be honest, the simulator didn't feel that good at all. You were watching the screen, right?
なんていうか、すごいもどかしい感じだった。3D のシューティングゲームに比べると圧倒的に爽快感がなかったわね。
Yeah, that's true.
実際に飛ぶのとはやっぱり違うのかな？
I think so. I can imagine that somehow. How would it feel to fly through the sky in that thing, I wonder? It still feels a bit unclear.
いいな。私も飛んでみたい。シミュレータならやってみればいいんじゃない？
You can control everything with your hands.
いい。今は葵くんがやるべき時だから。
I'll be patient for now. That's what it seemed she was saying. Without thinking, Agi and I look at each other.
じゃあ、早いとこ翼を作って実際に飛べるようにしないとね。
Yeah. If I can quickly become able to fly by myself, I can take Kotori with me. I might be getting ahead of myself, but it's good to have a target.
チェ外れか。残念。
Agia finished eating her ice cream and threw the stick into the trash can. I finished eating too, so I throw my Monaka wrapper into the trash can. Kotori was still eating and hurriedly ate the last of her chocolate chip ice cream. It wasn't as bad as Amane, but the way she ate kind of ruined her pretty girl image. Then she rushed over in her wheelchair and came to throw the cup into the trash can. Does she think that if she doesn't do it quickly, we'll leave her behind? When we were away from Kotori, Agea had come up beside me.
気を使ってくれてありがとう。
What do you mean?
とぼけちゃって。私とハバネさんのために誘ってくれたんでしょ？
I don't know. Did I? Looking at me as I quietly played dumb, Agea smiled cheerfully.
あ、お待たせ。
You didn't need to rush like that.
それじゃあ帰りますか。また明日ね。
Yeah, see ya.
さようなら。
We see Agea off as she waves goodbye. Then I push Kotori's wheelchair along the road back to the dormitory. What is what? After school, we went to the garage and saw large amounts of cardboard boxes and tin cans piled up.
やあ、君たち。
What is all this?
ああ、ついに届いたのね。
What are you talking about? Before Amane answers, Agea comes in after us and her eyes sparkle as she looks on.
主翼を製作するための資材だ。外にまだあるから運ぶのを手伝ってくれないか？
Then, with a great deal of effort, we carry the materials. Agea goes to check them off against the purchase order.
オッケー、全部来てます。よし。これでようやく翼が作れる。
Agea is extremely enthusiastic.
この大きなのは何？でっかい割にやたら軽いけど。発泡スチロールだ。型を作るのに使う。型翼の長さは約8メートル。その型を取るんだからかなりの量必要になるのよ。
That must be why there are such large amounts of the other materials too.
それが完成すれば飛べるようになるのよね。じゃあ早く作りましょう。
Kotori is also keen to start, but it's not like she knows how to make them. How do we make them? Is it something that we can do here?
FRP で作るから多分特殊な機材はほとんどいらないと思う。広さ的にも問題ないんじゃないかな。ですよね、天音先輩。ああ、前もここで作ったしな。
But what is that FRP stuff? I'm not familiar with that term.
強化プラスチックのことだ。主翼を作るための素材になる。
Strengthened plastic? Even as I say it, it still doesn't make sense. The broken wings are propped against the wall. They are smooth and hard to the touch. I thought it would be made from aluminium or something.
プラスチックなんかで割れちゃったりしないの？
Asks Kotori as she looks at the broken pieces.
それは大丈夫。ちゃんと作ればね。おかしいな。ちゃんと作ったのにな。
Amane goes deep into thought as she too looks at the broken pieces next to Kotori.
FRP ってすっごい頑丈なの。プラスチックにガラス繊維を混ぜて強度を上げたものなんだけど、考え方は鉄筋コンクリートと同じかな。
Reinforced concrete?
ほら、あれってコンクリートの中に鉄筋を通すじゃない？コンクリートは硬いけど引っ張られたり曲げられたりする力に弱いの。鉄筋を通すことでその弱点を補ってるわけ。FRP も同じで、硬いけど弾性率が低いプラスチックにガラス繊維を混ぜることで強化するの。
I see. I'll just go along with it for now. I'm not sure if I understand or not. As for the finer details, we'll probably learn those in class sooner or later. That's the kind of school it is.
どうして徹夜アルミじゃなくその FRP っていうのを使うの？いくつか利点があるんだけど、多分グライダー製作には最も適した素材なんじゃないかな。そうだな。現在グライダーの素材としては FRP がメジャーだ。 強度はもちろんのこと、プラスチックなので金属で作るよりも軽量化できる。加工が簡単でコストも安め。後から補修もできるし腐食もしない。
Amane agrees with each point with a nod.
ちなみに FRP は意外と身近なものにも使われてるのよ。
What could those be?
車のバンパーや漁船の船体などがそうだな。公園のスワンボートとか、あとあれ、ケンタの店先に立ってるカーネルおじさん。
She mentions the Colonel, Kotori and I not in agreement. I've touched the Colonel's statue many times and also had silly photos taken next to it with my friends from the cycle racing club. So that's FRP, huh?
カーネルおじさんと同じ素材でグライダーもできてるのか。
Kotori murmured, but I wasn't sure if she was happy because she felt the glider was somehow more familiar than she realized, or because her dream was shattered just a little. How exactly do we make them?
そうね、簡単に説明すると、まず型を作るでしょ、翼の。それに FRP の素材を塗っていくんだけど、まずはこっちの。
Agia opens one of the boxes that had just arrived and pulls out some sort of cloth.
このガラスマットを敷くのね。これがさっき言ったガラス繊維。その上から樹脂を塗り、またガラスマットを敷いて、また塗ってって繰り返すの。あとはそれが固まるのを待って取り外して。
And it's complete?
まだよ。表面をピカピカに磨いて塗装すれば完成。簡単そうね。今説明したのはあくまでかいつまんでだからね。実際はもっと手順が多い。これだけ大きなものを作るとなると、普通のやり方じゃ通用しない場面も出てくる。まあ一個ずつ進めていきましょう。先輩、設計図見せてもらっていいですか？
As Agia takes a look at the plans, she and Amane start discussing something.
なるほど。ここは分割して後から接合するしかなさそうですね。しかしそうすると重量の問題が出てくる。あまり重くすると。
The conversation moves on to things that we don't understand.
先輩、主翼作りなんですけど、私に任せてもらえませんか？構わないぞ。私がやるよりいいだろうからな。ありがとうございます、ハバネさん。
Kotori is surprised to hear her name called out all of a sudden. I think it's about time for them to start being more friendly towards each other, but...
何かしら。ハバネさんも手伝ってね。もちろん、そのつもりよ。
I'll help too.
葵はいいや。手が足りない時だけでシミュレータの方を優先して。
Kotori gives me an uneasy glance. I'll leave it to you too then.
おお、任された。
With that, Ageha became the one in charge of making the main wings, and then got to work on making them. じゃあ教えた通りやってみよっか。まず発泡スチロールで型を作るけど、ポリエステル樹脂が発泡スチロールを溶かすから先に上からコーティング。 Until just now, Kotori had been taking Ageha's impromptu FRP course. She had been seriously taking notes and reads them back as they proceed with the work. By the way, for now it's just practice, so they are trying to make something not related to the main wings.
先にガラスマットを敷いて、その上からポリエステル樹脂をローラーでコロコロと。ああ、ダメ。もっとしっかり塗り込まないと。いや、やってるわよ。隅っこの方はハケを使って。樹脂をつけすぎないで。分かってるわよ。うるさいな。気泡が残ってると空洞ができて、そこだけ強度が弱くなっちゃう。そしたらまた折れちゃうんだから。
As Amane stood beside me teaching me about piloting, she seemed to have a hurt expression on her face. Are you okay, Amane? She answered, still with that hurt look about her. It seems like Amane has a complex about her lack of dexterity. Amane and I were doing pilot training using the simulator.
旋回中ラダーの操舵量が少なかったりタイミングが遅いと内滑りを起こす。逆にラダーを使いすぎたりタイミングが速いと外滑りする。
Slipping in or slipping out are the terms used to refer to a diagonal movement of the glider. This is caused when you are trying to turn but the nose is not pointing in the right direction.
内滑りも外滑りも相対風に対してグライダーの向きがずれるから揚力の低下が発生してしまう。
That means that if the glider is moving through the air at a decent speed, even if there is no wind at all, it is still the same as if it were taking wind from the direction in which it is. That is what is known as relative wind. So, if the glider is moving diagonally, the wind hits it diagonally too. This means if the glider takes the wind from the front, the functions of that aircraft are maximized. When Amane says that there will be a reduction in lift, it's because it cannot take the wind directly from the front.
旋回中はそうでなくても揚力が低下するから内滑りや外滑りをするとかなりの高度をロスすることに。失礼します。
Akari Kumoi, the vice president of the student council, enters the garage.
やあ、副会長。こんにちは、望月先輩。それから。
Hi! Our eyes meet, so I lower my head in a bow.
こんにちは、水瀬君。
Akari looks around the garage and nods with approval.
ちゃんと活動なさっているようですね。ああ、まるで部活のようだろ。
She says with pride because these are club activities after all.
ところで、何か用かい？少し様子を見に来たんです。あの時は状況が状況だったので。
As you can see, we are doing very well.
ええ、見ればわかるわ。
For some reason, I feel that she has a bit of a sharp tongue when talking to me. It seems like Vice President Akari Kumoi is looking at me like she's sassing me.
確かにお人よしそうな顔してるわね。悪人ではなさそうだけど。油断ならないわ。
What's her problem? What is it?
いえ、何でも。
Does she have a problem with me? Akari heads over to the other two working at the back of the garage.
少し見せてもらってもいいかしら。あかりさん、どうぞどうぞ。こんなもんでどうかしら。いいんじゃないかな。これは FRP ね。何を作っているの？お皿よ。お皿？練習してるんです。グライダーの翼を作るんですけど、いきなり本番じゃ失敗した時困るんで。あとはこれが固まるのを待つのよね。そしたら磨いて色を塗って。
Kotori mumbled to herself as she checked her notes.
幅根さん、使い終わったローラーやハケはすぐ洗い流した方がいいわ。樹脂が固まってしまうと使えなくなってしまうから。
What does she know about that?
そうだった。
Kotori hurriedly goes to wash them. That was a close one. She almost ruined some of the equipment we had just bought.
それから硬化剤を混ぜた樹脂は温度が高いほど固まりやすいから、容器はなるべく日陰か涼しい場所に置くといいわ。
Kotori wiped her wet hands on her skirt and made a note of Akari's advice.
主翼作りは長丁場になるから、そういうことも考えておかないといけないんだね。
Agea also looks like she's thinking seriously. After confirming that the other two are doing proper club activities, relieved, she came back over to us.
うまくいっているようですね。あ
あ。Amane answered proudly. She looked happy to be praised like that.
ところで、実はもう一つ要件があるんです。副部長を決めていただけないでしょうか。
Second in charge? The other two working at the back of the garage stop and turn their attention this way.
ええ、望月先輩はとても有能な方ですが、お一人では手が回らない場合もあるでしょう。そんな時、どなたかいていただいた方がこちらとしても助かります。 非常に。
Apart from Amane, everyone made a face that seemed to say, "Oh, I see." It's probably not just Akari, but all the other student council members in the past would also have had trouble with Amane. She's very unique, so sometimes she expresses ideas that differ from the general social norms. There was the issue with the club losing its status the other day, and the fact that she keeps repeating the year is a prime example of her uniqueness. She's trying to say that she would like someone to act as a middleman to keep things running smoothly like a manager. But what you really mean is that you need someone to act as a mediator, right? From the few days that I have spent with Amane, it seems that she isn't suited to being any sort of mediator. She decides the club's principles and therefore the reason for it to exist, whereas the second in charge is needed to bring everyone together to carry that out.
わかった。決めておくよ。助かります。
Akari seemed relieved as she nodded and then glanced at me.
やはりこの水瀬葵が選ばれてしまうのかしら。
Yeah, probably.
かなこさんの話では人望はあるようだし、行動力にも富んでいる。ルックスも悪くは。って何を考えているの私は。
What were you talking about there?
え？
You were saying something about me and looked like you were glancing over at me.
見てないわ。
You totally did.
水瀬君。私はソアリング部の活動状況を見ていただけです。
Oh, I see. Sorry. So actually, she wasn't just glancing at me, she was staring.
では、私はこれで。
Now that she had finished what she had come to do, Akari left in a hurry. What? On the way out, she tripped over a cardboard box.
もう、何よこの段ボール。
What's more, she went to leave.
何あれ。さあ、葵に気があるんじゃない？
Apparently.
おお。
Why are you saying that all of a sudden?
だから副会長は葵くんのことをずっと見てたのか。やっぱり見てたんだ。これはあるね。
No, there isn't really. Come on, let's all get back to work. I tried to get them to drop it, then Ageha and Kotori returned to their work.
あいつ、ちょっと赤くなってない？だね。あかりさん、綺麗だもん。
But you two are definitely prettier than she is. At least in my opinion. I can hear you. Amane, what are you going to do about that thing the vice president was talking about just now?
どうしようかな。誰かやりたい人はいるかい？
The two other girls look at each other for some reason, then look at me. Me?
なんとなく。なんとなく。
You can't decide something like that by saying, that's what it looks like. Let's think about this, Amane.
わかった。
She said as I tried to reach a resolution to the problem that I had brought up. What I mean is that everyone should keep mumbling to themselves to a minimum and concentrate on the task at hand.
もうくぶちょずらしてる。あれは意外にやる気満々だね。葵くんでいいと思うんだけどな。
Everyone was muttering to themselves as they got back to work. Yes, but we will do that next time on If My Heart Had Wings. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a nice day. Bye bye!